this is Nancy Blanchard with Williams AV, and you are listening to and watching the AV Life.
I'm Murphy Daly, written by Murphy, IT and AV project manager, and you are joining us for the AV Life.
I'm James King, writer for the higheredav.com IT and AV column, and you are watching and listening to the AV Life.
Hi, and I'm your host, Tim Van Wert, and you are watching and listening to the AV Life. And if you're looking for me on Twitter, it's at the AV Life Pod or at T Van Wert. I realized I left that out of my intro part there, but this is a Thursday. As we're recording, it's a Monday as you're listening to us. We are a little short today, but that's okay. It's just the four here, Nancy, myself, James, and Murphy, as you heard on the intros. So how are we all doing tonight?
Peachy keen.
We're hot.
Well, hot. Yes, very hot. 100 degrees here in San Jose.
That doesn't happen.
All right. Okay.
That is the equivalent of hell freezing over. Hell, I don't know, but it's hot. It doesn't happen.
Okay.
Doesn't happen in San Jose.
Doesn't happen. Well, I would say send it this way to Jersey, but I'm actually very happy with where we're at right now. Like, I think we were like in the 80s today, and it was beautiful. It was great. I was, just kind of out and about a little bit today and working from home. And so it's as I tend to be doing on Thursdays, but my last work from home is next Thursday. So I don't know. It's all becoming real again. 5 days a week in the office. I don't know.
I'm doing my summer schedule, so I only 4 days in office in the week.
Oh, there you go.
But I'm in at 7 a.m. and leaving at 4:15.
Oh, yeah.
Which is not bad.
Yeah.
Still early.
Yeah, it's early, but I mean, with the baby, I'm normally up that time anyway.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Oh, well, and speaking of children, my little guy graduated kindergarten yesterday. So he's now a first grader. So it was super cute. It was outside. Apparently we were the first outside graduation for his school, because they've always done it inside the gym and everything. And last year they didn't do one. So, excuse me, they like skipped over and then went right to his class, and everybody was outside, and the principal was like, "This is great. We're going to do this again." And I was like, "Okay."
Oh,
Nothing like being the guinea pig.
Right. But still, that was nice.
Yeah. So, and then he had his little like carnival picnic at the school today. And so it was, all the celebrations are coming together, and school wraps up next week. And so yeah.
My daughter's last day of 6th grade was today.
Aw.
Yeah. We're proud of her.
Does she move to like the next bigger school?
To junior high. Yeah.
Very cool.
And speaking, well, they were done over a week ago, I guess, with high school and college. Actually, I think my eldest still has a little bit more college, maybe a week or so, and then he's done.
Okay. All right. Wow. Yeah. Everything's wrapping up. We're all getting back to like getting ready for summer. So we'll talk more about that later. But also I failed to mention last week, and it popped up at Facebook, and it reminded me. It's been a little over a year since Korr extended the invitation to me to be the host of the AV Life. It was June 11th last year, and I missed it. And as far as like recording and bring it up last week. So, yeah, it's been a full year now, and we're still going. So I haven't dropped the ball. Yay. I haven't dropped the ball too bad.
Congrats. That's great.
So thank you. And thank you again. As I've always said, thank you to you guys, the crew, and to those who aren't with us tonight. You know, I can't do this every week without you all here as well. So
you have a shorter show.
Well, yeah, I can only ramble on for so long. Yeah. And nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear me talk for more than like 10 minutes. So,
Well, good job, Tim.
Well, thank you.
Show up and you make it go.
I try. I really try, or at least not crash and burn too bad. So, all right. Well, so, and also thank you to Corey and to Joe Way
Yes.
as well. Because their support through all this has been awesome and wonderful. And just trying to do the best I can to keep Corey's legacy on the AV life going. He's fine, by the way. I made legacy as far as podcast legacy, not so. But we'll try to get try to get Corey back on another show, and when he's feeling a little more up for it. So Murphy, let's again, I'm talking too much. So Murphy, let's move on to the PM minute.
Okay, the PM minute, my friends. A project manager has got to be, or I should say, managing a project is like being a dive bomber. You like it? In my world of my little planes over here and stuff, you going up very high, go up high, and see the lay of the land, see how things are going. See, and then when you see something, you see a target, something that needs attention, go down and strafe the whole thing, get the whole thing, and take care of it, and then get back up. And either get out or keep surveying and looking for another target that needs attention. So you got to kind of keep above to keep the perspective, and then go down and kill it, just totally destroy whatever problem is happening, and then go back up. Say, okay, how's everything going? And just kind of see it way high up. So you have to go between the two.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Got to break out your helicopter and stay on top of things, but really get down in there if you gotta. So
and go
all
in
right,
and destroy whatever the problem is and go back up. Okay, survey the land, and that also means you need to be aware. So it does take two kinds of things. You can very broad, and then just hone right in and just destroy that tiny thing, like whoa, and then back up. So you got to go between the two.
I feel like I should be having like a fly swatter or something. Like, here comes the fly, bang! It's like I don't know why. Okay. I don't know why. I don't. Right. You were saying this little tiny thing, and I'm thinking like a little bug that just needs to be squashed, and it's like.
Well, I guess when you get closer to it, it could be a whole, I don't know, to extend the metaphor, a munitions factory, but from the air, it looks small. It's fly sized. Yeah.
All right. Well, I was gonna say that's if you're managing your project well, I feel like that's easy to do. You just kind of survey, and then you take care of those before those little things get at you even more. So yeah. If you want to continue with the military thing, if you let those go and let those factories keep going, then
it's gonna come back after you.
They come back. Yeah, they're gonna come back and get
you.
Yeah.
No, don't want that.
First strike. That's what you got to do.
Yes, destroy that problem. Yeah.
All right. So dive bombing for project management. All right. Any input from the rest of the crew here?
Silent.
All right.
No.
All right. Nice and simple this week, Murphy. No extra commentary needed. So that's good. All right. Yeah. So we are getting into the start of summer. So, and for many of us, when we were younger, we had our first jobs that were out there. I could go back and, I did odd jobs for people around the neighborhood when I was growing up. So I guess you could say my first job was like pulling weeds for my neighbor when I was like 14 years old. So, but my first actual like fill out the W-2, form and, get on payroll. I was a camp counselor in the summer of 1995. So yeah, that was.
You're the cool counselor.
Yeah. Does this look like I was the cool counselor? I don't know.
Cool counselor in the eyes of the younger children.
Yeah. When I was the 15-year-old that the rest of the staff was 18 to like 22. It was like I was the little what do they call me? I was a CIT. I was a counselor in training. So that's what.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
Did you have fun though? Was it hard?
It was a fun summer. It was, yeah. So it was also the summer I went to my first. It was also the summer I went to my first college party. So yeah. At Rutgers, actually.
Oh my.
Funny enough. Yeah. The guy was a Rutgers student. And yeah.
Ooh, can I tell you a gossip in my town?
Go ahead.
It's a small gossip in my town. Okay, so they're having the end of school festivals and whatever. And the junior high had everybody can like play on campus day for sort of graduation hangout together day. But word is a high schooler, not even from our town, from a nearby school district, was on campus. Dun dun. But that person was accosted and taken off, and it's all okay now. But it happened, and they sent out an announcement. like, okay.
Somebody not of our school showed up, and we removed
it's not
them.
so much. Well, yeah, not of the school, and also a high schooler amongst the small junior high innocents. So, anyway, that makes me giggle.
That was fun. All right.
Where from, Murphy?
What?
Where are you from?
I live in Claremont.
No. But was that there or was
that just happened like today?
Oh, I thought you said where you were growing up.
No, it's just the hot off the presses right now. No, that would not have been considered a concern when I was in junior high.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like things were, even timing wise, things were different. 1995, I was a 15-year-old attending I don't remember how old that guy was anyhow. I just know he was in college and he had an off-campus apartment. So, he must have been like, 18, 19, 20 years old. Or actually, no, I think he was probably like 22 years old. I mean, there were other staff members that were there too. So it wasn't like he just invited the CITs. Like we were just invited as part of the group. So in a way that was cool of them to include the younger kids too. Now, I don't know what happened later on after I left and went back home because, curfew for a teenager, but it was fun while I was there.
When I was 15, I was working McDonald's.
Oh, there you go.
Oh yeah.
Was that the first gig?
Well, if you don't count the other, unofficial work for people, kind of things. So, but yeah, McDonald's, big deal. Very serious.
Yeah, a little. Yeah.
Good times. They had training. There were videos. You had VHS videos. You had to pop them in and learn how to do stations. And the McNuggets video was popular because it involved puppets.
Oh, okay.
And was there a video on how to make sure the shake machine's always broken?
Our shake machine worked all the time.
Oh,
I think that the supplies now, I don't know, the ice cream and the shake machines always break where I live now. They're like always out. The nearest McDonald's are always out. And you're like, but our shake machine was fine. Thank you very much. But I didn't understand it at the time. I wanted to go work the grill because I hadn't worked that station. I wanted to try it. Being, however, a young female, they always had me in the front saying, "Can I take your order?" And I thought, why can't I go back there? And they're like, "No, you're a girl. You stay in the front." And I did not like that. I wanted a chance to go get grungy with that grill. But no. Because they could talk freely back there, let us say.
Yeah, I never did the food service thing. I did retail, but I never did food service. So
what I was saying is, here in California, I think it's you're 16 and you have to get a permit from the school to be able to work. Whereas I worked at 14 and started off, my mom from a small town, she owned a printing company. And one of her clients was a catering company, and his name was Hans, big guy. And so I started out in catering.
Fun.
So that's what I did. And then I got into.
Did you have to start really early, like to make donuts, perchance?
No. It was, it's like events. So for example,
I
as when you had me, Tim, on your Oktoberfest event,
Yeah.
one of my first gigs was, it was at night and it was Oktoberfest. So you go to a hall and then you're either, how they have buffet, or you're actually serving it table to table to table, and then you got to take the plates away and all of that stuff. So that's what I did. And at the end of the night, he would pay you cash. So I mean, it was never never covered for you to, during tax time or anything like that. So
That's true.
Lessons learned for life. Yeah. This is how
how
you
to work under the table. And then I worked for a bank. I was a bank teller in university for Toronto Dominion. So that was like complete opposite.
Okay, James.
My first one was actually an ice cream shop. A local Tim, you might actually know of the name. You ever gotten ice cream at the Korr's Brothers on Korr's ice cream? Well, the guy I worked for is in the family, but he's the black sheep. He broke off. But it was still the homemade ice cream. Oh man, best ice cream around, I would say.
That's awesome.
That's where I worked for a couple of summers.
Did you give your friends extra,
Of course. I ate many dinners there too. Many of my dinners were ice cream.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you could do that back then. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I can't.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's funny because like for dinner, like I would say 4 to 5 nights a week when I was that age, like I was going from work to then I did like summer theater. So I would do one right after the other. So it was always fast food, and it tended to be always McDonald's. So I used to get the McSalad shakers, like the cups. Yeah, the cup, and you shake it all up and everything like that. So this episode should be sponsored by McDonald's now that I'm thinking about it. But
I had a coworker at McDonald's who had like mastered the art of making that cone truly the size of your head. He had this way of balancing this enormous amount of ice cream on that cone, and it was balanced. It wasn't in a cup. He did it. But seriously, you would have to like take it off and separate it into several cups. Like, wow. He was one of those guys. Yeah. So he just was.
I was gonna say that sounds like Dairy Queen level of like there's like a whole art form, like I heard with Dairy Queen. Like there's like a certain way that you have to swirl it and then do the little curly Q at the top. Like
yeah, because it's an image for DQ.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, trying to find food at a DQ is hard at least in North Jersey. It's hard. I don't know about South Jersey, but
we don't. I don't even think we have a DQ anywhere near me. So
okay, so there you go. That answers that
question.
What do
you mean? Is it just ice cream only then?
Yeah, a lot of the ones in New Jersey are only ice cream. There are a few, but they become more prevalent the further away from New Jersey you get. There's one in PA that actually a buddy of mine, when we used to do the Warrior Dash, which is like one of those mud runs, like the little 5K mud runs, we would stop at on the way back afterwards. We get our cheeseburger, ice cream, and because it was like a meal you could get, but it's the only one that I know of, and I think there might be one or two in New Jersey, but for the most part they're all just ice cream only.
Oh, okay.
How about Sonic? You ever eaten a Sonic, Tim?
Yeah, well actually I got two of them near me. There's one in Totowa and there's one in what is that over there? Teterboro, or like Woodridge or whatever that is right there.
So that's in your territory because they don't have them here, Sonic.
Yeah. They were coming down to South Jersey and then they folded and packed up and left.
Well,
they've got them here.
Yeah, it was a big deal. And like these two are one of the few, I think they might even be the only ones in New Jersey at this point. But but the one in Totowa it's a real piece of crap. I hate to say that. It really is. So they're now currently under renovations, but the last 2 times before that, we went there to go try to get food because we haven't be down that way. It's a little out of the way to get to for where I live, but we went the last time we went there, they had no food. I pulled up through the drive-thru. They go, yeah, we have no food left.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, and this was like 6 o'clock in the evening
Jeez.
on like a Thursday or something like that. And I'm like, how do you
poor
have
planning?
and then before that, I think they had no burgers or something like that. Like, you guys are a burger joint. You don't have
You have one
burgers,
job.
right? It's like you have one thing to make sure you always have in stock.
It
Have burgers.
seems like the manager was not dive bombing.
Oh yes, no, yes, that
Oh yeah, he was
dive
he
bombed
was
elsewhere.
up in
Yeah.
the air.
Yeah.
So
in
okay,
the ether.
since we're talking about fast food chains now, this reminds me early on my first. So I started as an internship at NASA with desktop video conferencing and collaboration, and my next job was for Visa International. And so I was doing video conferencing support for Visa International, and so I went on a trip to the East Coast, and I didn't know how to plan trips very well. I was very young, and I was in my 20s, and we're like, okay, I fly over there. I have a set of places I need to go, and I figure, okay, I'll land in one place, drive around to the different places I need to go, and then come back. So, but I had the work to do, and you know how sometimes work takes forever. So I'm like, okay, I'm hungry, and I need to get to the next place, and I'm just like, I need food. And this was before the apps would tell you where this is. So I'm like, I just need food. And I'm like looking around as I'm driving, like, where is food? And I saw like burgers. So I went into this place, and it was a White Castle, but I had no idea what that was. And so I'm like, I'm hungry. I need a burger. And they're like, only one?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, how many do
here's
we
your little
normally
burger.
get? They're like, this is White Castle. I'm like, I see the sign, but I don't know what that means. So like, well, people might order 3. I'm like, okay. So I had to get that and go back to my hotel. I'm like, this is kind of weird. And then when I'm like, it just tasted a little bit like cheap sausage or that without the flavor. So
Yep.
I'm like, okay, I have, hamburgers and fries. And then when I got back to the office, one of my favorite coworker, John, was like, you had White Castle? I've only heard of them. I'm like, is that supposed to be really good? He goes, no, it's supposed to be really bad. I'm like, oh yeah, that was follow. So,
Yeah.
It's White Castle is
why is it even
really designed for your 2 a.m. food run when you're
Stoner
drunk
run.
or high.
Yeah.
They actually made a movie. What is
Yeah.
that?
I remember
Harold and Kumar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, there you go. John was right. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
Best
I've
part of
had
that
it.
was the best part of that was them finding Neil Patrick Harris. Like
I
that's
know.
Yeah.
Yes. We
Mm.
got to go back and watch that movie.
yeah, I was just say it's been a while on that one. I think it's
I
time
think
for a
they came out with
rewatch.
a second one, didn't they?
There is
Yeah.
I never saw the second one.
Me either.
So oh man,
Well,
White Castle. Oh yeah. But it also it's funny because we also used to not only eat them when we're drunk, but we used to have case races. So yeah. So you get a case and try it. Whoever finished it first won or lost, however you want to look at it. But yeah,
A case.
I never
of
partook in that
Case of
because like
burgers.
a case of burgers, a 30 case.
Yeah. So there's 30 of them. And
There are 30 White Castle burgers in a case.
So you'd say
Yeah.
like a 3-0 maybe, because in Canada you have a 2-4, and a 2-4 that we refer to is a case of 24 beer. So you just always call it a 2-4. So if you got
okay.
a case of hamburgers, you got a 3-0.
The 3-0. Yeah.
3-0.
Called a
A
3-0.
3-0. Yeah. They call crave case is actually I think that's what they call it at White Castle.
Yeah.
But it's never a craving, as it were, but it's at least I don't think it is. I got a place here in my town that's called Little Burgers, and that's their same principle. They're the little
I
burgers,
hope they have
but
higher quality hamburger meat.
yes,
Okay.
yes, they do. That is
So they're
why
like
I
sliders then.
they're
They're
fresh.
fun.
Yeah, they're fresh sliders, and they're on the little Hawaiian buns. So
Oh,
That's
it's
pretty yummy.
yeah, yes. Oh, they're absolutely delicious.
Mm.
So I actually just ordered those the other night. So
see, we have a place by the college. It's Five Guys. That's
Oh, there you
really
go.
I've heard of that.
Mhm.
And what's really nice about them is like if you order, their fries are really good. So
Mm.
you order like a cup of fries, and they put it in a to-go bag. Even if you're eating in the place, everything is in a go bag. So they'll put a scoop in the cup, put the cup in the bag, and take another big scoop and put it in the bag. So you get a lot of fries.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're all fresh. They're all fresh cut and fresh
Fresh
fried.
cut.
So
Delicious.
yeah. So and they have the bags like on display in the store. So like, and they have the station and everything. Like you could see that being done. So yeah.
Proud of it. This is their
Yes.
thing. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and the free peanuts if you eat in store. So there's that too.
So Tim, you touched on the other really cool thing about summer jobs,
Mm.
the socialing thing.
Mm.
You got taken under the wing of these college students and even got to a college party. So Nancy, did you have a summer job? I mean, the Hans and his catering is one thing, but did you have like a summer job where you had like, you know, situations you get like drama and crushes and stuff?
No, I was more realistic in my job. So there was a big potato chip factory called Hostess. And that's what a lot of the kids would do is that, you know what I meant? They worked in it and smelled the chips and things, but it was really good paying jobs. So there were like a lot of those type. Whereas for me, I was always trying to find things that were steadier, better for me for the future. So I worked in a unique, really cool store called, oh geez, now I even forgot what it was called, but it was like a specialty food store. And so you could go in there and you could buy like crab legs or boxes of hamburgers or steaks and things like that. And I used to make trays. So I'd make meat trays, cheese trays, veggie trays, all of that type of stuff. So yeah, I didn't have the typical summer jobs.
You had fancy jobs. You had fancy catering and fancy food jobs.
I had the more serious type of jobs. Yeah.
I've got a that reminds me. You're talking about the fancy jobs. I'm like, yeah, I'm not so fancy. I mean, McDonald's was fine.
People do like landscaping and things during the summer.
It's true.
Like those type of jobs. Yeah.
But I had a job at Safeway, being a courtesy clerk, a bagger, right? A bag boy, but girl. And one of my the first kind of shift of that was I was 18 that one, so that was a little bit later. But I was 18, and it was kind of the end of the evening shift. I later moved to mornings, but that particular one, I was taking out the trashes. And I was taking this big, huge trash, kind of swinging it by my side as I was trying to get through to where you put it. And a piece of glass came through and sliced my leg.
Wow.
Yeah. And the drama of that one, in addition to just getting sliced, I still have the scar. It was fine. They stitched it up and it healed, and that was fine. But there was a person who I had gone to grade school with, who also worked there, and this was a young man, and the manager said, take her to the emergency room so she can get stitches, because clearly this was in cash. We're like, whoa. And he's like, okay. And I get in there, and this is a person that I know, right? But we didn't really talk at the store, but we had known each other in junior high and whatever, or elementary school. And he goes, don't bleed in my car. Don't bleed in my truck. I'm like, you're a charmer.
I'll do my best to control my circulation so that it doesn't.
Yeah. Right. So, and I'm like, all right. So we got there soon, and then I guess, yeah, they gave me stitches, and he took me back to the store, and then I waited till my parents picked me up because I didn't have a car.
Hmm.
So that was fun. That was my my
I was
story.
gonna say, I've never
Not
had any
fun,
major. Yeah, I was gonna
but
say I've never had any major, injuries like that on the job. So it's
Yeah.
couple jammed fingers, things like that. But and obviously, well, in more recent times, the sharp zip tie cut, that somebody
oh,
didn't snip it the right way,
Yeah.
and you
those
you
can be
like
vicious.
bleed out from one of those.
Probably the worst I had was actually fell off a 6-foot ladder.
Ooh.
Yeah. That
Yikes.
one, the ladder just gave up. The, actually, my boss and I were. This was before I was doing AV. I was doing security cameras, and we had one that wasn't working, so we had to get into the box above the camera to check out the wiring. I had 8 bolts in the box.
A lot of bolts.
So yeah, I don't know why whoever installed them put 8, but there was 8 bolts on the box. So I went up and I got 4 out, and it's up even higher than the 6-foot ladder. So you're reaching above
You're on
you.
the top rung.
Not even. I mean, even on the top rung, you're still reaching up. So my arm was killing me. So I told him, hey, can we switch? So he went up. He took the last 4 out. He had a phone call, so he came down. I went up. I fixed the wiring. Um, he went up to check it to make sure it was all good. He put 4 bolts back in, and then his arm was hurting. So it's like, let's switch.
Oh my
I'm like, all right.
God.
So I
The
go up.
battle of the
I'm
box.
on the last bolt, and the ladder decides to go one way, and I went the other way. Luckily, I landed on grass because it was outside.
Okay.
But yeah.
Oh,
Oh my gosh. I'm glad you're
yeah.
okay. I took that OSHA training, and basically ladders will kill you all the time, constantly.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's yeah.
Which actually was funny because about a month later, we had to check out some cameras on the roof of the building. So we go up to the roof, and as we're walking along the roof, he turns to me and goes, "Don't fall off of here." I'm like, I won't.
You're like, Roger, Roger
Yes.
that.
Yeah. No falling off the top of the very tall building. Yes.
And also, whoever designed that with 8 bolts, dude,
Oh,
stop
yeah.
that nonsense.
I don't know why it was 8 bolts in there.
That's overkill.
Yeah.
That's just a waste of a perfectly good bolt. A waste of like 4 perfectly good bolts.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it was on the drawing, and then that architect should be shot for that. But it's
Yeah.
but yeah. I'm sorry, Nancy. My brain just kept going back to Twinkies. You brought up Hostess, and I was
Oh,
like, and
yeah.
my brain couldn't process potato chips with that. It was like, oh, Twinkies and ding dongs, and
You're hungry.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. Yes. Although I did have Chipotle for dinner tonight, so I'm good right now, but I need dessert. I will need dessert eventually. So
I took a bit of the afternoon off to go pick up my daughter from her last day of school, and I was like all prepared to take her to like a congratulations lunch at a restaurant. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a thing, and she's like, no, I just want to get tacos and go home.
Yeah,
I'm
nothing
like,
wrong with tacos.
okay, well, right, but I was looking forward. I was like, well, I was gonna have a thing, and like, okay, that's your thing.
Yep.
You're 12. You get to be moody. So.
basically what we gave my son the
boys.
well, we gave my son the option of what he wanted to do for dinner for graduating kindergarten, and he was like, yeah, I want Burger King. It's like, you want burger? It's like, that's yep, I want a cheeseburger. Okay. So that's what we did. We had Burger King for dinner last night. It's like,
It doesn't
all
change
right.
the age, let me tell you. It really doesn't.
It was
My
funny because
youngest-
my wife even said to him, he's like, oh, you don't want like a big steak or something like that? And he goes, why would I want that? It's like,
Like, yeah, kindergarten.
my youngest daughter, she like could eat McDonald's for every meal. So
oh yeah.
she always want McDonald's. That or Red Robin. She loves Red Robin.
Oh.
Yum.
Yep.
We've got
I
one
was
of
say
those
we
in
have
my-
one. I have one of those by me too. So it's.
I got one down by my work.
They have my favorite, the avocado salad. It's
Mm.
a good one. It's a good one. That's my go-to when I go there.
See, I don't get salads from Red Robin, so that's.
You're like, that's a waste. I'm like, well,
If I'm going to Red Robin, I'm getting a milkshake and I'm getting a cheeseburger, like that's or some burger of some type. Oh,
Really?
geez. Oh yeah.
I've
So and
never
I saw. What's that?
I've never eaten at one, so I don't know what they have.
Oh yeah, they got like, I guess fancier cheeseburgers is probably the better way of putting it. Like,
Okay, well that's
Yeah.
good.
and they also have their fries are really good because they're seasoned and they're the
Yeah,
big thick
yummy.
steak fries. So
and they
they're
keep
bottomless.
refilling it for you, right?
and they're
So-
bottomless. Yes, if you eat in, they're bottomless. If you order, here's a hint.
Yep.
If you order home to like take home, just tell them you want extra fries and they give it to you for free. So
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. For your hungry
they
boys,
still-
man.
they still live by the extra, like by the bottomless,
Yep.
even for home. So yeah.
Okay.
Now I don't know how that works with like, getting them from DoorDash or Uber Eats or one of them. But if you call in
well-
and do it yourself, so
You say put some extra in for the driver.
yeah, exactly. In a separate bag, so he's not going in my
Oh,
bag.
wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. Ooh,
Oh, man.
yeah, summer days. Yeah, the
Uh.
drama of the summer job was so like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Who-
especially in an ice cream place and
Oh, that's
work in the summer, it can get jamming.
Yeah.
And actually, that probably so far has been the only job I felt confident enough to ask for a crazy amount of money when the guy asked me to come back to work. Like 4th of July is always the busiest day. So I left and I worked at a grocery store in the deli, making more money and better hours. So one summer I was over getting ice cream and the owner was there and he's like, "Oh, you want to come work for me for 4th of July, right?" I looked at him. I'm like, "No, I'm good." He's like, "No, you want to come work for me." So I looked at him and go, "Pay me $20 an hour." He's like, "I can't do that." I'm like, "Then you don't need me."
Mhm.
And that's the way we left it.
Boom.
Oh, know your worth. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like, well, do you want it or not?
What was he going to pay you?
Oh, probably what the minimum wage was. So I think at that time was 8 something.
Okay.
So yeah, I was asking for a lot over minimum wage. That was
Yeah,
back
just-
in high school. So that's a
Yeah.
long time ago.
Yeah.
That's, I don't remember what comedian said this, but he said, you know what they're telling you when they're paying you minimum wage? They're telling you, I'd pay you less, but it's illegal. I'm like,
Well,
Wow.
this was all under the table anyway.
oh, you're like,
And also
okay.
we made
it's
a
all
lot on
hush
tip.
hush.
Yeah,
Well,
we
then
made a
you-
lot on tip.
You could, yeah, well, then you could have accepted less for the fact because you're not having tax taken off and stuff.
Oh, I could have. I didn't want to
You
work
didn't wanna
4th of
do it.
July.
Oh, there you go.
That was my thing is if he was willing to pay me $20 an hour, maybe. I wasn't willing to work 4th of July. Because
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, normally, like when I worked 4th of July, we weren't getting out of there until after midnight,
Yeah.
and the place closed at 10. So
Speaking
I'm
speaking
gonna-
of 4th of July, I am super excited for fireworks this year. I don't know why, but it's like I went through last year of no fireworks. Disney canceled their fireworks. Disney's
Oh.
now bringing them back, and like even the town where my wife grew up, they're having their fireworks back. So like this year just
We aren't.
oh.
So there's
We
going to be
aren't
war zone
Is that a
again.
state? Is that a state?
We have a drought right now.
Oh, all right. Well,
We have wildfires.
No, we have a system. We have a whole setup. There's a plan. It would have been fine, but it was not.
Called a
because of the
drought.
drought.
There's no water. It's dry as heck.
we've
All right.
had
Well,
anyway. So I'm raining on his excitement. So good. Tim gets
you
to have them, and Tim
you have
deserves
your
them. Yeah.
you have your good lake weather and things like that, and Joe could be out on his boat. I'm excited for fireworks. I get my fireworks. So
Yes,
See,
I'll be excited. Well, what's going to happen? What's going to happen is what happened last year. It's just going to be a war zone of all night professional fireworks being handled by non-professionals.
yep.
Yes.
4th of July is actually probably my favorite holiday.
Mm.
Like, there's just something about 4th of July. I enjoy it. My wife hates it. She's not a fan of it. But yeah, my 4th of July is my favorite holiday.
She gets flashbacks to Nam.
Oh, we lost Nancy.
We lost Nancy.
Mm.
Okay. Hopefully she comes back.
When she comes back, I'll probably have to go. But
yeah, we'll do like a little tag team thing with the two of you. So, yeah. So, so
I'm
4th of July.
excited for your fireworks, Weenie. They're fun. They're pretty. Ooh, ooh. And then the final, all of them at the end. That's great.
Yep.
They all go like, oh.
So
yeah.
we speaking of fireworks and also years ago, like this again, back when I was in high school, we had a huge delay in our fireworks and no one knew why. Like they're all like, they're supposed to go on at dusk. They weren't going off. So I live right by where they shoot them off. Like I could sit in my front yard and watch them. So I ran down to the park, I'm young, and I see the fire marshal and all that stuff. So I'm sitting there talking, BSing with them. So what happened was the company who showed up to do it had all the spares in cardboard boxes. So the fire marshal, of course, wouldn't allow them to fire them off until they were in metal containers. So they had to go find metal.
Redo it all.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's common sense when you're dealing with explosives like that.
Apparently not, I guess.
Common sense, not as common as it ought to be.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's wow. Well, yeah, and then I don't know what it was. I think it was, I don't know, like 10 years ago or something like that. Like we had, like in Jersey, we had like a lot of like rain around 4th of July, like for some reason. And it was like 2 years in a row or something like that. It happened to be like that. And the town my wife grew up in, they canceled their fireworks, and then they canceled them again like the following year, and then they were like, forget it, we're not gonna, they took it out of the budget and they weren't going to do it anymore. So I guess they figure after now it's time to bring it back and to do it again. So that's exciting because it's good, because her parents' house is the same thing, James. Like it oversees the park where they fire off the fireworks, so we could sit in the front yard and watch the fireworks go off. So yeah. And then for those of you who are watching the video, you can see the really cool Disney fireworks on my background. So, but you don't see that if you're just listening to us. So go to higheredav.com and go find the video under the AV life and watch the video if you want to see fireworks.
Oh.
And while you're there, read all the great content.
Yes. James has an article. Mike Peterson has an article. Justin has his podcast, but lots of articles.
Yeah. And also don't forget to check out our sponsors.
Yes. Many sponsors out there who have placed themselves there to support us, and then also to show you their awesome products that they have out there, like the Sennheiser Momentum 3 headphones that I'm using here. The just plugging them for a little bit. And Murphy, you have books, don't you, before you leave?
Oh, my books. Yes, I have a fabulous book available on Amazon. I've got several. I've got The Parable of Miriam the Camel Driver, which is a fine book talking about how to balance career and creativity. That's a fun one. You can get that. And several other ones. I'm working on some more too. So
how's it? Oh, can we hint on the AV project management one?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yes, I'm working on an AV project manager book. I'm maybe halfway through. I had to stop and organize it. I was just putting a lot of stuff out there and then like, wait, I need to organize this first. And this chapter that I'm writing is setting up the systems. And I finally finished that chapter. When you get a project, what do you do with it? And I talk specifically, this is what you do. And this particular book is going to have a ton of templates, the stuff that I actually use. So, I'm going to say, this is the agenda for the internal kickoff. This is the agenda for the external kickoff. This is the, what you're going to use to track your change orders. This is what you're going to use to track your RMAs and all of the things that I have learned to rely on to manage the extraordinary number of projects that I've managed that are all at once, that are specifically AV. And you set this up and they're all in this folder set, and you just like slap it over into the new project and fill it all in, and then everybody can access it and know what's happening.
That's very cool.
It's great. It's going to be so good. It's amazing.
Can't wait. I'm super excited for that now. We'll have to, when you get closer to being done, maybe we'll give you a little bit of a spotlight time to talk about it.
I will very much want that. And I'll probably do like something of a tour.
That'd be cool.
Tour.
A podcast tour, yes.
And a book tour of excitement, yeah.
Yeah, book tour when you could actually tour the States and do that,
Yeah. Maybe I'll have a backpack full of them. I go to InfoComm. They want to buy a book.
Oh, well, speaking of InfoComm, registration is open now. So if you are interested in going, please make sure you register for InfoComm. I know we kind of joked around it. It's probably going to be a big party, but there are courses. Avixa is taking it seriously, as they always have, but please go and take your classes and do your RUs and all that you need to do. Not RUs.
Yeah, those educational things.
CEUs. Sorry, that was I don't know, RUs. I'm talking too much rack stuff with my crew last week.
I thought they were RUs, aren't they?
Are they RUs too?
I thought they were RUs.
Oh, okay, so maybe I'm all right. So maybe I'm not wrong. Okay, cool.
multiple meanings. We're running out of letters. We have to reuse them.
Yeah. Or if we standardized,
You bring in the evil word.
Oh, standard is yes, and security.
Now, my friends,
standards and security, the evil words that are out there.
Well, my friends, I must go. I don't know where.
All right.
I do.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Take it easy, Murph.
All right. Take care.
And then there were two. So it's James and I now, folks. I don't know we don't know what happened to Nancy. Murphy has left us as she's going to do her fancy workout stuff. So, and get punched in the face, as she says. And not really, by the way, not really. Just I don't want anyone coming at Murphy being like, are you okay? Like, no, this is what she signed up for. So yeah, well, I know I'm just talking about summer. We'll just talk really briefly about summer projects, James, since it's just higher ed people right now.
Sure.
I know. Yeah. So, and we've had a lot of talk I've seen on the higher ed AV, the higher ed AV IT group, and as well as the HETMA group. It sounds like we've got the delays are now hitting our orders. It sounds like
it does sound like, but I think this is where relationships really come into play. Because I know probably it was like 2 months, maybe 3 months ago. We talked about ordering some equipment, and I knew there was delays with that equipment. So I called the manufacturer, who was like, yes, there's delays, but we are putting high priority on higher education. So when they get in, higher education gets first dibs. He's like, put the order in, we'll put you on the list, we'll get it to you in time. We had to be in by June 30th. We got them today.
Nice. There you go. All right. Well, and actually, it's funny. I'm having with one product in particular, I'm having a little bit of a delay as well. And the vendor who I ordered it from is actually eating the cost on a higher, like a step up model, because apparently the model we ordered is the model that everybody wants right now. And the manufacturer is stating like it was, oh, it's only going to be a couple more days. It's going to be a couple more days. It's going to be a couple more days. And then to yesterday, I think we got an email saying, yeah, it's going to be August. And it's like, okay, I placed this order back in April. Like I should have product by now. Like,
Yeah.
and it basically is, they just can't keep up with the demand. And
I understand that, but again, I go back to the whole relationship and being able to do things like that. Like you said, you had a vendor who's now eating the cost, the relationship there. We had a similar situation 2 years ago. It might have been a year ago. I think it was pre-COVID. Yeah, it was definitely pre-COVID. We ordered a bunch of equipment, and I know it could be a time crunch with that equipment. So again, been in contact with the manufacturer, different one than before, and they're like, "Yeah, unfortunately, we can't meet that order in time." I'm like, "All right," and they're like, "But we'll bump you up to the next model that meets your need, no additional costs." So the manufacturer are actually the ones who bumped us up to the additional model with no additional costs.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's great. I think that's one. I'm sure that happens in integration world too, but in higher ed, I see that a lot where relationships are built with the integrators and even the manufacturers, because they know that we're time crunches and we're budget crunches.
Yeah, and that's what it was a network switch. I mean, so for us, and we're diving more deeper into the Dante world. So where the PoE plus switches that we were using weren't up to spec with, we were getting dropout because they were power friendly. So we were getting dropout because of power fluctuations. And then we went with the manufacturer recommended switch, and we did that, and that's the one that we can't get a hold of now. So, but that was an unmanaged switch, and that's what they were okay with. But now they're getting us a managed switch, which now means more work for my network guy and more for my audio engineer. So it changed a lot of dynamic. Like it's nice that we got upgraded to these bigger switches, but at the same time, it's now causing us more work. So
yeah, and I think that's probably something a lot of people don't even think about, especially with managed switches and PoE plus and stuff. You gotta make sure you're planning that out, because all those PoE devices pull power, and you cannot go over the power allotment. And because we have done that many times where we have to do the calculation and go, okay, we have X number of PoE devices. We don't have enough power, so we have to balance between switches. Luckily, the more and more switches we're getting, the higher end ones are, they got plenty of power in them, but before they didn't.
Yeah. So yeah, but we're plugging along, and now we're coming up with our like plan Bs of just in case like other things don't come through right. Luckily we can continuously just keep ordering. Where we were already pretty much out of our money from 2020 to 2021. So now we're getting into our 21-22 fiscal year. So we're having a fun time with that. So and now also everybody's on vacation because no one used vacation days, so no one's around. So I'm one of those guys. So
yeah, we actually, it's not even really vacation, but we just had 3 folks within our department go on leave because their wives had kids.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I mean, not all on the same day, like a week or 2 apart or so, but yeah. So we got like 3 of our guys are out on leave because their wives had kids, so that's
Okay.
a lot going on there. But you know, we get stuff done. That's how
Yeah,
it is.
we're gonna have like baby boom number 2 coming up just now, because now everyone's what do you do when you're in lockdown for a year and a half? So
Yeah.
well, you had a little one, so that's
Well, that was before the lockdown.
yeah, that was before the lockdown, but I was just saying, like, you already had that in place.
Oh yeah, my little one's gonna be 2 in September.
Aw, yay.
Crazy. We actually tonight we actually gave him his first haircut.
Aw, yeah, that's even cooler.
Oh yeah, he did
Alright.
not like it.
Nope, they don't ever. And now my son is 6, and he's just getting to the point where he doesn't like totally scrunch up his shoulders when the little
Buzzer.
buzzer goes on the back of his neck. He almost you see a little bit of like the movement, but he's getting better at holding his shoulders down and things like that. So yeah,
That's good.
you still got a ways to go, James.
Yeah. Don't tell my wife.
Yeah, no, well, it started out with me and my wife taking him, and now it's just me taking him. So it's
Oh, my wife did
Nancy,
it.
you're back.
Welcome back, Nancy.
Yeah, we had this week actually an outage here with Xfinity, and it was a couple hours. And then sure enough, same thing, because I texted my neighbor and she goes, "Yep, we're back again."
Ah,
So then my son just said, "Hey, we're back on." So I'm
yeah.
back.
All
Welcome back.
right. Welcome
Yeah,
back.
no,
Well,
actually my wife was the one who cut his hair.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so yeah, it was a trip.
All right. Yeah, James's son just had his first haircut. So yeah. So we actually were kind of just I think we're just starting to tail off a little bit there. So that's so you came back
Timing.
just at well, yeah, because then Murphy had to drop off, and then now you're here. So, but it's kind of like, oh, all right. Well, we were gonna kind of start to tail off and finish wrapping things up. So,
Sure, no problem.
so, um, so yeah. So, oh yeah. So register for Infocom. That's now open, and so we'll and I will put it out there. If you are looking to sponsor the AV Life, we are open for any sponsorships. And I did reach out to Joe Way to see about how we could possibly manage getting the crew down to Orlando, but we'll see. I don't know. But
Yeah,
I don't
you know
want to
what?
promise anything to anyone.
That's a real touchy. Why not? I talked to my previous manager. He's small business owner, a manufacturing rep. And typically with Infocom, when it's in Orlando, generally the people from the West Coast don't go because it's a long drive, and and the majority of the customers do not attend. So it's more, let's say you're at AVI SPL or any of the other companies, your East Coast offices will attend. So he actually said he's not even going, and he reps Harmon, but he's not even attending because he doesn't think that there's going to be that many people. So
Well, that's
we'll
what's
see.
that when we talked about that last week, that was kind of their, it's like, how many people do we really think are going to show up? As like, because a lot of the higher ed folk, like, our budgets have been cut. Like, that now I won't say all, and that's not across the board, because seeing things on the higher ed AV Slack channel, we see that there are some people that are planning on going, but for the most part, it doesn't sound like, James, maybe I didn't, but that yeah.
Like I said, I'm not going, Stockton's not going to pay my way down. And let me rephrase that, because I don't know, because I didn't ask, but I assume our travel budget is so non-existent, and our professional development budget. But also, again, knowing that we're in all universities in one way or another are struggling financially, I wouldn't even feel right to ask them to send me down, especially after hearing about Bill.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you ask for something like that when that there are other people that are losing their jobs and things like that? It's yeah.
So Williams is there, and we are going to have a full crew.
Cool.
So if you do have the chance, then come on by. I couldn't tell you what our booth number is yet. So
Well,
but
register, and then you'll just have to wait and see. So,
yeah,
but yeah, and I was saying though too that yes, it's going to probably be a big party, but Avixa will be having their classes. Oh, and the whole RU or CEU or whatever they call it. Um, but register, get on board, claim your spot, and we'll hopefully see you down there, and we'll go from there.
Yep.
Any parting thoughts from anybody here before we sign off? Nope. Okay.
Now.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Well, we'll be back next week, and we'll probably have a little bit more organization for next week, and we'll close out June, and before we end this back to the show month here at higheredav.com. And yeah, go visit the site, go read the articles, go listen to past episodes of the AV Life, buy Joe's book, I guess.
Like, can
Sorry.
next week is the last week of June?
I know. It's so weird that we are at that point now, and yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And like a lot of the guys that and girls that work for Rutgers are coming back in July. So like I'm expecting these next couple weeks to be like pretty empty in the building. And then after 4th of July, we're gonna get a steep spike of like people coming back into the office. So it's gonna be interesting. It really is gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm actually going on my vacation the 28th. We leave.
Nice.
So.
Very cool. Yeah, I won't.
I'm
not going anywhere until October. So it's any vacation days I take off. It's just to be here. So just to be here in New Jersey. So.
All right.
All right. Well, we're gonna close out here. So thanks for listening, everybody, and until our next adventure.